Alright, doing a first real drive out on the highway, doing about 55 with the new EV Tuning Solutions adjustable rear camber bushings. Got the alignment set. The front is within spec, but it's not aligned properly because I still have a front control arm issue. But the rear is set about 3/4 of a degree negative toe on the lowest setting. Negative camber. The toe is set to 1/10 of a degree positive. Spec on that is 0.25. Spec on the camber is negative 1.5. So I'm a little straighter on the toe and a little more vertical on the camber. First thing I noticed is it did lift the back end of the car up a little bit. It's due to the ride height sensors seeing that the control arms are in a different spot, so it's compensating. So car sits probably about 1 inch or so higher in the rear than it does in the front. Gives a little bit of a rake, kind of that old school sports car look. It tracks dead straight. I can let go of the steering wheel and it goes dead straight. The tire noise has been greatly reduced. Running Goodyear Eagle RSA 2s on this and 245 19s. Those are the tires that came on this car originally in 2013. They're the tires that have been on this car every tire change since. They are not the quietest. They are not the most durable. They really are not good for performance, but they're good all-around touring, and they're fairly cheap tires. The reduced tire noise is fantastic. The tracking on it is great. It took a little bit of trial and error to get the alignment set where I wanted it to be, which that happens when you do any sort of suspension tweaking. The first ride I noticed I had the upper camber arms set at different spots, and I made up for it with the toe arms, and I just didn't realize it. So when you would take the car out and you would punch it, the back end would squat down uneven and it would kind of shoot off to the right. Took it back in, readjusted everything, got the upper arms set evenly, and then adjusted the toe to compensate for it, and everything seemed to straighten out almost perfectly. There's not a lot of room to work when aligning these vehicles, especially with aftermarket components, but nothing a little bit of curse words and throwing tools can't handle. But it got done. The car rides beautifully. I'm debating on whether or not I should calibrate the suspension to sit a little more level, or if I should just leave it as is, because it's not too bad. It's not a ridiculous amount of rake. You don't really notice it when you look at the car, but you do notice a difference in wheel well gaps. That could be changed with a taller tire, maybe a 245/50 or a 255/50 in the back. Probably get a little more wheel well fill out of it, and it would also bring the back end up a little more at that point as well. Nothing crazy, but I can't stress how much the tire noise has been reduced now that the car's riding on all of the tire instead of the inside shoulder. It definitely reduced the tire noise pretty considerably. sitting here 55 miles an hour. I'm showing an average consumption of 265 watt hours per mile. So it didn't, the more tire contact didn't adversely affect the consumption. I didn't expect it would. Aerodynamics play more of a role than rolling resistance does. The difference between the negative 1.5 and negative 0.75 degrees of camber over the long run is going to make a huge difference in the longevity of the tire. At least that's the theory behind it. We'll see how that goes over time. And I'm curious to see how durable these are. They will be abused. They will get hit hard constantly. There will be a lot of hard launches, or not so much hard cornering, but they'll definitely see their fair share of rear end squat, and even the way they sit right now, you punch it and it just goes dead straight, doesn't walk anywhere, doesn't creep, doesn't go off kilter, just goes straight as an arrow. Kind of doesn't give you the same like neck snap acceleration, but like the acceleration is still the same, but the way the weight transfers back is now different. I have a feeling that's because of the polyurethane and steel versus the original neoprene and aluminum, very flimsy original bushings that allowed the suspension to move around a lot more than it does. So I think another benefit is the suspension is much tighter. It's still, you do side to side, it feels like the front end is doing all of the work and that the car is not rolling so much. I have no accelerometer readings to verify that. This is all just kind of with the butt dyno, but I mean, punch it and it goes, and it doesn't wander, it doesn't do anything. It goes straight, it stays straight, and it rides really nice. So the first impression on the highway with these things is they are very, very good. They do need a little tweaking on the design aspect of things, but all in all, they are very, very well thought pieces. There's a lot of engineering that went into them. Could use a little more, but that's what happens when you deal with prototypes. I think a couple of revisions, these things will be absolutely fantastic, and I would definitely recommend for anybody who likes to adjust their suspension to their preferences, a set of adjustable arms in the front, a set of adjustable bushings in the back, maybe a combination of adjustable arms and bushings. To really, now we're getting into the high-end suspension components that they're going to take. They're more for your experienced suspension guys. Your average Joe driveway tinkerer might be a little above their knowledge base, but these cars are the aftermarket is starting to catch up with these cars, and I'm really excited to see the future of them. And anybody who interacts with me regularly knows I don't like to leave things alone. I can't leave things alone. I have to make things fit me, and I do it with all my vehicles, my motorcycles, my cars, my trucks. They have to fit me. I don't adjust to the car. I adjust the car to me. And it's starting, now that more components are coming out for these cars, it's becoming easier and easier to adjust this car to my liking. And yeah, I think the future looks promising. So first impression is these are definitely a good component for anybody who wants to increase the longevity of their tires, or just adjust the suspension the way they want to. So if you're looking for it, contact the guys over at EV Tubing Solutions up in New Hampshire, and they'll hook you up. So have a good day, stay safe.